Guys, this is Matt the Lawn Care Little Guy, and I appreciate you tuning in. Hey, if you get time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button just at the bottom right hand side of the screen. And if you like the video, then I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And hey, if you really like me, why don't you tell one of your friends about my channel so they can tune in too. But anyway, today's video is going to be about those things that people put in their yard that you gotta mow around and you gotta weed eat around, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt. I was thinking about that. This is a video I've been wanting to make for quite some time, so I'm going to show you a few pictures and I'm going to see if you guys have the same problems with it that I have. And problem is kind of a strong word. It's just basically things I don't like to work around, and I'm going to tell you how I deal with it, and I'm going to ask you how you deal with it. If you pick it up, do you go around it? Do you not do it at all? What do you do? So I'm going to show you a few pictures, all right? So take a look at this one. The first one is going to be a ladder, right? It's this ladder, and it's on the side of a shed. And I weed eat up to it, as you can see in the picture, but I don't move it. I don't pick it up and move it and weed eat through it. And one time he had me move it, and so I kind of know that the customer would like me to, but I don't. Honestly, I just weed eat up to it. So tell me what you guys would do with that. To what extent would you guys actually go through to move something, to weed eat around it or whatnot? Because this particular lawn, he's got a lot of stuff in his lawn, and I could be moving stuff the entire time. So I don't, there's some things I move and there's some things I don't, and in this particular instance, I don't move anything. I just do my best to weed eat around it and through it. And that's what I do with that. So the next one I got here, I'm sure a lot of you guys deal with this one. It's really popular, at least here in Oklahoma, is these solar lights. Take a look. Yeah, the solar lights. What a pain in the butt, right? It seems like when people put these things in their yard, they put just all kinds, like, it seems like hundreds. It's not really hundreds, but it feels like that, right? And they're really flimsy. Some are plastic, some are like aluminum maybe, or some kind of really cheap thin metal. And some are glass and some aren't, and some are really super decorative and some are just really cheap looking. But this is one thing that I move. Because a lot of times the stake is in the ground, it's removable, and then you mow over it, or you can just weed eat over it, because if you don't, those things are just so easy to damage. And I honestly have damaged a number of them, and I just replace them for the customer. That's if I can find the exact one that they have. If not, I feel like I got to buy an entire set. But most people are like, nah, don't worry about it, they're cheap, whatever. And that's kind of what I do. But I always pick those up and I move them. Sometimes I forget to put them back, and that kind of bothers me at times too. But anyways, what do you guys do with that? Do you guys pick them up? Do you go around them? Have you guys damaged them? Just tell me your thoughts on that. So the next one we got here, the next one is cracks, right? And it's not just regular cracks. A lot of us like to just weed eat the cracks because that's just good service. You want the customer to come up and look at it. But what happens when it's really close to a tire or really close to a car, where your string might actually hit the car, or it might throw something up at the car? What do you guys do about that? Do you guys go ahead and do it, or do you leave it and then maybe next time they won't be parked there, or what? Well, the little guy, I actually avoid those. I avoid weed eating those cracks because I'm just not comfortable with it. You guys might be more comfortable with it than I am, but I'm not. So that's one that I do not do. If it's too close to the car or kind of under the car a little bit, I don't weed eat those cracks. So you might do something different, tell me. And the next one we have here is a hose reel. Yeah, have you guys seen these in your yards, where those really cheap plastic wind-up hose reels? And it just seems like it's always in the same spot, and then grass kind of grows up underneath it. What do you guys do? Do you guys move that and then weed eat it and then put it back? I do. That's easy enough for me. That's easy enough. All I got to do is just pick it up, take it over, weed eat real quick. A lot of times I can just do it with one hand, just weed eat and then put it back. So that's one that I do move and I weed eat, and I think that's appropriate. The next one is real similar. It is a hose. This picture is actually taken in my house. And it's actually on the house. It's not a hose reel, it's just a rack, and the hose hangs down really close to the ground at times. What do you guys do with that? Do you guys take the hose off and weed eat? Do you not weed eat at all? Do you try to weed eat and just kind of slap that hose a little bit? I've done that. I've done that, but I get scared that I'm actually gonna like cut the hose or something. I'm gonna damage the hose. So what I've done now is I actually just take one hand, I just lift it up real quick, and I weed eat underneath it real quick, simple, and I'm done with that. So that is one thing that I definitely do. And then the last picture that I have is also in my yard, is a sprinkler head. Right? Sprinkler head. This now I just use the impact sprinklers in a spike type, so I run a hose to it. I don't always have my hose run to it, but I leave my sprinklers where they're at. And the reason why is because with these impact sprinklers, you can set them in a certain way to where they spray at a certain angle. So if you pick it up and you move it, then you have to reset it to make sure you get the same coverage. I've seen this in a couple different lawns other than mine, but this is a picture of mine. And this is one where I do not move that sprinkler. I just don't want to go back and readjust it. And if it's in a customer's lawn, I don't want them to have to go back and readjust it on the chance that, you know, that I put it back in the exact same spot. Maybe you guys can remember, but I probably can't. And I get the metal ones, and I'm able to weed eat lightly around it. So I don't move it, but I'll weed eat around it. I don't just ignore it. And that's what I do there. So anyways, guys, just a short video. This is one that I've been wanting to do for quite a while because obstacles are just such a pain in the butt. I know they're a pain in the butt for you guys. Sometimes we got customers that just keep on adding stuff, and it's just a big hassle, right? And it takes time. And I know that we all have our limits. I certainly have mine. Now you kind of have a feel for what my limits are. And I hope to get some comments to see what you guys think about all that. What are you guys willing to do? What are you guys not willing to do when it comes to moving things? Another idea is trash cans. Do you move trash cans? Do you weed eat around them? Anyways, guys, that's about it for this particular video. And up next is going to be tag time. And I hope you guys enjoy it. All right, guys, tag time is here, and the topic verse for this week is going to be 1 Peter 4:8, and I'm actually kind of ripping this off of another YouTuber. If you watch his channel, then you probably know, but this is Acme Mowing, and he brought something up in a comment, or maybe it was Instagram, I'm not quite sure, but he said, hey, why don't you do a tag time over this verse? So I am. It's 1 Peter 4:8, and it talks about loving each other deeply because love covers over a multitude of sins. So, have you ever found it kind of interesting how you have just more patience, more tolerance for one person, no matter what they do, and then for another person, it just seems like there's nothing that they can say that's right, and just everything is irritating to you? You know, have you ever noticed that? Have you ever had somebody in your life like that? I've certainly had some people like that. One of the examples is, man, I just really have trouble at a full-time job, honestly. I don't work and play well with others. Most people, but there's some people, and for some reason, there's just something about them. There's something about my relationship with them where I just can't seem to get along with them. And everything they say, everything they do, it brings about negative thoughts, and it brings about hate for that person. I mean, I know it's a strong language, and you might say, you know, but Matt, little guy, you know, I can't imagine you hating anybody. Well, you know, in my heart, honestly, I do have hate. I have hate for some people, and I don't want it to be that way. But for other people, I just have this unconditional love. Like for my wife, there's really nothing that she can do wrong that's going to make her unforgivable to me or unlovable to me. I will always love her. I will always forgive her. There's nothing that we can't get past, right? Because love covers over a multitude of sins, right? So I'm going to make this one kind of short a little bit because I'm betting that as you hear me talk, you're probably thinking of two different people. And if you haven't thought of them, I'm just challenging you to think of two people, one person that describes your ability to cover over a multitude of sins because of your love for that person. And then think of a name for the other person to where they've just hurt you so deeply, and just the sight of them might stir up negative thoughts or angry thoughts towards them, or the things that they say. I want to challenge you to love everybody. Love everybody, okay? I know it's hard. I struggle with it too. But if you ever want to move beyond anger, if you ever want to move beyond hatred, you're going to have to learn to love, even the unlovable, even those that don't deserve mercy or grace, because love covers over a multitude of sins, not just a couple. It covers over a multitude of sins. Okay, so I want to encourage you guys to just consider that verse and consider it for your own spiritual health. Consider it for your own personal anxiety. If you have it, maybe you're the type that doesn't have it. You're totally fine with where you're at. Hey, you know what, man? I'm not going to say anything either which way, but what I know is the Bible says to love everyone. Love your neighbor, love your enemies even. And love covers over a multitude of sins. Okay, so my hope is that relationships would be maintained, that relationships would continue to grow and thrive in love. And for those relationships where you lack love, I pray also that you would experience love in that relationship so that it can overcome whatever they've done to wrong you, whatever they've said to hurt you, so that you can move on into loving everyone, even your enemies. So anyways, guys, that's my time for this week. I appreciate you guys watching so much. Pray for me. You know I'm praying for you. And peace.